Hey guys, welcome to Finish Awesome Friday for another week. So I do apologise that this third video is taking slightly longer than anticipated to get released over the last few weeks. A lot of things happening at the moment, very, very busy. Add that children and life around that as well, other things that get in the way, then obviously it's taken a bit more time than needed. But today we'll finally talk about the third and final layer of the 3 layers of awesome when it comes to mindset. Okay, so we've obviously discussed the first 2 layers. Obviously we talked about results and we talked about effort. Okay, obviously you're setting your goals, so you know exactly where you're aiming for, exactly what you're going to do. You then obviously work on that motivation and understanding actually what hinders your motivation, and actually then finding ways around that, because obviously the longer you can stay motivated towards the goal, the more likely you are actually going to reach that goal. Then the final bit is that consistency. So it's kind of the cherry on top. It's kind of like once you've got the effort and you understand what it's going to take to get that effort, get that motivation, understanding then how you get that consistency and what it takes is obviously going to take you through a lot easier through the process to reach that final goal, which is your results. Okay, so the way we have to look at the sort of the 3 areas that are going to help you in terms of consistency. You've obviously got believing in the process, don't measure over minors, and perseverance. Those 3 things, if done correctly, will help build upon your consistency and help you reach your final goal from the end. So we take down each one at a time, starting with believing in the process. So obviously the goal here is to ignore as many people as you possibly can. Myself, I am guilty of being one of these people, but the fitness industry is full of people that want to tell you what they think. And with that, when you listen to people's opinions, obviously what will happen is it will be based off of their own experience. Okay, I don't get any of my athletes to do anything I haven't done myself, and I don't advise anything that I haven't done myself either. If I've read a textbook on something, it doesn't make me an expert at it. I have to do it myself, understand how it works for me, and then I try and give the information out to you guys as a piece of information. That's how I always will do it, and that's how I always have done it. Okay, a textbook does not teach me anything that's going to work with me, and I don't believe that myself. So when I hear these proclaimed gurus and experts on the internet, and they're telling you how it is and that they've understood the ins and outs of the diet and nutrition and training world, and I've got the secret formula that's going to give you that success, I call BS on them, and I'm quite happy to do. There's a lot of fitness douches out there, and I am not going to be part of that circle. I am going to be coming from a completely different mindset. But they don't have to be a fitness douche to obviously be opinionated. Okay, you're going to have people from work, in family, your friends. They're all going to give you their opinion on something, and whether they are right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Unless you're doing something completely ridiculous that's going to hurt your health, then I would say experiment with it first. If you think that something may work, then try it. If it does work, then great, you've learned something new. If it doesn't work, then obviously you've learned that it doesn't work and you can move on with your life. But don't base everything you do around what other people think. Believing in the process, believing in what you do is actually going to be the secret formula. You'd be doing the most ridiculous thing in the world, but if you believe it works, 9 times out of 10, it's going to get you that result. Now, obviously if it's unsafe and it's unhealthy, it's going to lead to some damage down the line. But if you're basing everything you do on sound principles and doing it through knowledgeable people giving you information, people that base things on scientific studies and all the rest of it is good. But if you're actually looking at people that are experienced in the field and build your knowledge around them, then 9 times out of 10, it will lead to that success and take it from there. You're also going to have people that are going to criticize what you're going to do as well. They're just going to exist, and the more successful you are at something, the more criticism you get. So obviously, as you build yourself up and as you get more knowledgeable and as you build your understanding of the way your body works compared to everyone else's, people will look at that as a bad thing, and that's the world we live in today. So just ignore the people that are going to tell you that you're wrong. They're going to tell you that this should be the way you do it, that you need to cut things out of your diet, that you need to do this particular exercise, that you need to do this particular program to find your success. You will find the success yourself by experimenting, trying, and then learning from that and actually taking it out. You're your own scientific experiment. No sort of laboratory rat is going to tell you what to do. Generally in life, what you'll find is there is the truth. There is something that people believe in, and both ends of the spectrum could be not exactly what works for you. Somewhere in between there lies the actual knowledge of what you're trying to do, okay? But obviously if you solely believe in something, it is going to, give you results. So that's where you're coming from. So take your beliefs, take your structure, but understand that there is an element of truth in things like science and like, experience, like the bro science as they call it now. And finding that knowledge is actually somewhere in between those lines. It's actually learning, experimenting, seeing if it works, and then taking it forward from there. It's not just by what people tell you, okay? So you have to believe in that process. Not measuring over the minors, something that the powerlifting god himself, Jim Wendler, says many a time, and it's something that I've taken on myself quite massively. Okay, there are tons of gadgets, there are tons of supplements, there are tons of programs out there that promise you the world and a six-pack. Okay, but nothing worth doing is going to be done with 3 easy payments of $9.99. Okay, you have to work hard and concentrate on the major aspects of your training and not on the little frilly things that they try to sell you in magazines and on the TV. When you understand that, these things can be utilized as tools. Okay, that's not to say that training gadgets are useless, because they aren't, because you can utilize them within a well-structured training system, well-structured nutrition system, and make them work for you and take the benefits from them. It's not to say supplements don't work. Of course they work, and of course we utilize supplements to supplement our diet, but you have to make sure that the diet's right before you can obviously go from there. Okay, and obviously training in itself is such a spectrum. It doesn't really matter what you do, as long as you do it consistently and it's not completely ridiculous. You should find your results from there. But there's always a smarter way of doing things than there is, the sort of the quick fix promise that you get from a lot of the DVD and sort of quick sell sort of programs that are sold to you. So not measuring over the minus, well, do the basics. Okay, the basics are the basics for a reason. They're not sexy, they're not going to sell in magazines, and they're not going to sell on a DVD to you, and that's why not many people will preach it. You always will get an extremist coming along and saying, you need to do this diet, you need to do this exercise, you need to do this program to get your success. But the truth is that the basics are what get you the success. Every single successful system or program that is built around these basics, and then they just add the fluff to make it seem like it's the greatest thing in the world. Okay, drink water. 2 litres of water a day should be suitable for most people. A little bit less maybe if you're a smaller sort of person, and a little bit more if you're a bigger person. But generally speaking, if you hit 2 litres a day, then that's going to be a great start. And then from there, depending on your activity levels, depending on what you're doing within those activities, more water may be required or less water may be required. Let your thirst kind of guide you, but don't get to a point where you're really thirsty, because when you're thirsty, it's already too late. You're already more dehydrated than you need to be. But just ensure that you get like 2 litres in a day, and that's a good start. Sleep, so simple, not affected, not being used efficiently, or effectively by people every single day. So get between 6 to 8 hours a day, preferably more, preferably the 8 hours, but at least get 6 hours a day. If you can't get 6 hours of sleep a night, then there is something seriously wrong with what you're doing in your day-to-day life. Okay, find a time to be able to cut back on the other crap that you're doing in the evening and get that 8 hours in if you can, though, because that's going to make a world of difference to how you feel, and a way more sort of efficient in how your body actually reacts. You get the opportunity to release a lot of good hormones and to actually recover from your day-to-day and feel so much better mentally. Eat vegetables, eat healthily, eat normal, actual, unprocessed food. Okay, again, this shouldn't be something that you have to tell people, but again, they'll use sort of the excuse or the obstacle of not enough time, or not the options when you go out. But there always will be an option. There always will be a better option. There always will be a healthier option, and there always is enough time somewhere along the line. You can always make it, and if you can't, then just find an alternative that's going to get you that wholesome, unprocessed produce that you can get into your body. Okay, eat your fruits and vegetables. It's so simple, but again, it's just not utilized enough by people. Even if you're just having an apple with every protein shake you have in the day, or if you're just having vegetables each evening with your meal, or something like that, just to start with, just to build it into there, you can make time for it, and it can be done. So just eat healthy foods, unprocessed products as much as possible. And exercise. Okay, so you don't have to squat, you don't have to do Olympic lifts, you don't have to do CrossFit, you don't have to do powerlifting, you don't have to do bodybuilding, you don't have to do PX90. You can pick whatever you want to do. If you really want to go and do Zumba because that is the only thing you enjoy doing, then just go and do it. But do it consistently, do it all year, work hard when you're doing it, put everything you've got into it, and make sure your diet around that works. If you're exercising, you're drinking water, you're sleeping 8 hours a night, and you're eating healthily, you will get the results. And no piece of equipment, no watch, no magic supplement, and no magic program or DVD is going to make that happen for you. You have to just do those basics, and that is as simple as that. The last thing we're going to go into is the perseverance side, so it carries on through from there. Okay, Yoda obviously puts it perfectly when he says about activities, about perseverance. You do or you do not. There is no try. Okay, you can't spend your whole life coming up with an excuse why something doesn't work. If you put your effort into something and actually go forward with it, it will work. And that is what it's all about. But you're not going to have a perfect ride all the way, okay? A couple of key quotes here from the man himself, from the Messiah, from the God, who is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Strength does not come from winning. Your struggles develop your strengths. When you go through hardships and decide not to surrender, that is strength. Okay, now if you're not a musclehead, okay, if you're not a meathead and you want something a bit more from someone from the other world, we've got Thomas A. Edison here. I've not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that don't work. And if you're not into the brain or the brawn, what about movies? Why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves up again. Now that's Batman's dad. If you ain't going to listen to Batman's dad, then you ain't going to listen to no one. When you go through your fitness journey, the most important aspect of consistency that is actually going to lead you to that end goal is going to be how you attack the failures that you put into your time, okay? When you come along to something and it doesn't work, instead of thinking that, you know, I'll forget it, I'm just going to go back to the way I was because obviously, you know, dieting's not for me, training's not for me, it's not going to work. Instead of that, you need to learn why it didn't work. What is the process that actually didn't make that work? And if you don't want to understand that, then you need to employ someone or bring someone in that is actually going to help you understand that. The art of actually getting where you want to go is simply a case of not quitting, okay? Because the way you've got to think about it is that all the horrible things that are associated with not being healthy, with not exercising, with not eating in a nutritional way, is a lot worse than the effects of actually failing and realizing that you've done something wrong, okay? Obesity is not going to quit. Heart disease is not going to quit. Type 2 diabetes will not quit. Cancer is not going to quit. So why the hell would you want to quit on yourself, okay? These are legitimate things that the world are starting to see more and more of because of the complete sedentary lifestyle that people live. Okay, you're sitting on your bum 9 times out of 10 through the day, you know, for most of the day. If not, then you're lying on your back when you're asleep. Okay, we need to move, we need to eat, we need to hydrate, we need to sleep. We need to do these things, but you've got to fight it. It's a war. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to come all nicely packaged up. It's not going to happen every single week for you. It's not going to be those butterflies and rainbows that you're promised in those DVDs and those supplements and those adverts, okay? It's hard work. Fail just means the first attempt in learning. It's a cheesy line. It is a cheesy line, but it's never more true than when you think about exercise and nutrition. You will fail so many times. If you want to succeed in something, you will fail again and again and again. And that is good because that actually is what you want. Because when you fail, you learn something, and you learn something that you can then take into the on from that position and move forward with that you won't do again. And if you don't make that mistake again, you won't fail in that particular area again. But you will fail in something else, okay? But you just keep on going. You keep going through those barricades, and then in the end, you get the result that you want, okay? If you miss one day of training, of your diet, or whatever it may be, miss one day, you still have 6 days in that week to make that back up. Okay, it doesn't matter. You don't quit just because you have a one bad day, where you're eating pizza and cake all day. It doesn't matter. Just get back on the wagon the next day. Not a problem. If you miss 1 week, okay, you have 51 weeks the rest of the year to get that right. You go on holiday for a week. You've got Christmas and New Year's and all those other things. That week is a write-off. It doesn't matter. Get back on the horse. Carry on. Do not quit. Do not surrender. And if you miss an entire month, I'm giving you an entire month here, okay, 30, 31 days. If you miss an entire month, you still have 335 days to get it right. There is no excuse for quitting. There is no excuse at all, apart from that you just don't want to get the result that you want and you're happy living your life and going in the way that you're going, okay, towards the type 2 diabetes, towards cancer, towards heart disease, towards those terrible things that tragically take lives every single day that we can do something about and we can avoid, okay? You've got to keep that mentality and you've got to keep going forward. No matter how bad the slip up, no matter how long it is, you've got to keep on going. To finish, we use this old Japanese proverb that perfectly talks about it. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. Never quit, because quitters never win, and winners never quit, guys. I want you guys to just be awesome. I hope you've enjoyed these series as we go through from here. Finish Awesome Friday will go a little quiet, go a little off the wall for the next couple of weeks as I'm working on some other projects. But it will come back, and there will be more stuff to come through from there. But until that time, guys, just be awesome. It's been a pleasure. And obviously, comment below, send me emails, send me stuff through from there. I'm always happy to answer questions and always happy to help you guys become the most awesome you can be. I'll catch you guys later. See you.